Yeah, welcome to the show, kids. We have volume. Delco, we had no volume on the intro. I didn't know.
Yeah, the computer was volume off.
Why was it volume off?
I don't know.
You need to ask yourself that, okay? Today's show is brought to you by MyBookie.com. Bet on anything, anytime, from anywhere at MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros will double your first deposit up to $1,000. We're back from the holiday. We usually do Monday morning recap show on Monday. However, it is Tuesday, and because the NFL week is starting on Thursday, this will be a slight combo of the Monday morning recap show into week 2 college football odds. Now, the reason we're doing this is because the odds are rising rapidly. That tends to happen after week 1, D'Anthony, especially when, well, let's face it, we can find out who the pretenders are and the contenders are, I think, after week 1.
Yeah, we know a few of those answers for sure.
Sure do.
But before we get to college football,
yeah,
let's go through a couple of important things that are happening. One, Aaron Judge is definitely going to break the home run record, the single-season home run record.
I hope so, by the way.
Unless he gets run over by a fucking truck or something.
I hope so, by the way. I hope this happens. Bob, you're about to chime in there. What are your thoughts on Aaron Judge? And do you personally view him as the single-season record holder if he were to break it?
I would personally, yeah. I would be like, yeah, he's the dude.
Nah.
8 home runs. Basically, they have a month left.
Yep.
Because
27 games. Yeah.
27 games. So, yeah, that's a month's worth of games, more or less. 8 home runs. Yeah, man, he's going to do it. They're playing some shitty teams, too, if I recall correctly. So, he should be good to go. Yeah. And then I'm more interested in Pujols, though.
Yeah, we'll get there. Just wait a minute.
Both I'm amped about because I think Judge has done it the right way. And this record
by being 6'9", 6,000, like 300 pounds.
Yeah, you should be, but you should be born physically gifted to have these records, and I think I would like to see Judge do it. My curiosity goes to whether or not the Maris family shows up, just as a fuck you to McGuire and that whole era.
They should.
I agree.
So he's at 54 now, and I mean that's 54 through 135 games, even in the year. So that's more than McGuire had through 135 the year he hit 70.
Okay.
It's just 3 shy of what Bonds had, I believe.
When he hit 73.
Yeah. So the really interesting thing part about this is that he's even probably going to overtake Maris, not just in hitting 62 home runs, but in doing it in 100. So he's missed enough games where the max he can play is 157. Mm-hmm. So if he breaks this record, if he hits 62 before their last series of the season, the last week of September, then not only will he have hit 62, which is more than Maris, he'll have done it in 154 games. So there's no asterisk in anybody's mind about it, unless you want to count Yankees Stadium's right field fence, right?
Right. And look, I don't know if he'll do it in 154 though. That's 24
what, 19, games. No, it's 24 games. So he's only played.
That's 1 out of 3. It's 1 out of 3 games. He's got to do it.
Well, what I'm saying, so as long as he hits number 62 before the last 3 games of the season, then he breaks it in 154 games.
Correct. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So that's good. And Pujols, I think, will probably hit 700.
I do too.
His shit's getting storybook.
It is, but where is this coming from?
So he said to someone with the Cardinals, I forget who, he was like, and this was maybe right around the All-Star break, right around the Home Run Derby. He was like, I think I found something, like in his swing. He said he thought he had rediscovered something or a way to, I don't know, cheat or get out ahead type of thing. And now, because, I mean, he's hitting righties pretty okay, too, still demolishing lefties. And, he only needs 5 more home runs in the last 27 games. And this shit's getting like storybook. That homer against the Cubs, his last at-bat ever against the Chicago Cubs, who he murdered his whole career with the Cardinals anyway. Didn't play them much with the Angels. To win the game in the 8th on a pinch hit, like it's just fucking – it's getting crazy.
It's fun to watch, and I think baseball needed it this year, to be honest with you, out of both of those guys. It'd be nice to see Pujols, probably the greatest player in this generation, right?
Maybe.
Who would be above him?
Do you care about steroids? Because the A-Rod's got quite a bit more win above replacement.
I actually do. Like, I really do care about the steroid thing. And I don't know whether Pujols has done it or not. So far, he hasn't been caught, at least.
Yeah. He's hitting, over the last 30 days, he's hitting 370 with 9 home runs and 19 RBI.
At 42 years old.
So that's a little suspicious, I'm not going to lie. But he's also, there's a good chance he's the best right-handed hitter we've ever seen. Like, I don't care about wins above replacement and some of those gaudy 50-plus home run years that Alex Rodriguez had because he was juicing as much as he possibly could.
Right.
Pujols is just look at the first 10 years of his career versus the first 10 years of Alex Rodriguez's career, and it's not even close.
No.
You know what I mean? So this is probably the best right-handed hitter in the history of baseball.
And I'm glad this is happening, too, because people in the last, 8 years have really fucking forgotten that. Like, that dude, he's the best hitter I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched, he is as smart as any hitter I've ever seen. He has as much power as any hitter I've ever seen, and just everything he can do everything. There's no holes in his swing. If you need a base hit the other way, he will fucking get it. If you need a fucking 500-foot home run, he will get it. He can get anything. He had the best 10-year stretch maybe in baseball history.
So here's the this is his average, the first 10 years in baseball, right? 331 batting average, 426 on base, 625 slugging, a 1.05 OPS. During that time, he averaged 119 runs a season, 190 hits, 43 doubles, 41 home runs, and 123 RBI while only striking out 65 times a year. There's no 10-year stretch in baseball history that looks anything like this.
Right.
Even in Babe Ruth's career. So, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
To say the least. And that's the first 10 years of his fucking career.
Yeah, from the time he was 32 on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What sucks, too, is that COVID probably prevented him from passing Babe Ruth. That's how good he is.
Well, unless look, if he truly believes that he found some kind of something in his swing, you know what I mean? Like maybe he's got his hands in a different position that's allowing him. Because the thing that made him great was the ability to wait longer than anybody else. It's the same thing that allowed Bonds to hit like he did, right? Like you wait until the last possible minute to make your decision because you have great hand-eye coordination, you have great vision generally, and you have really fast hands. Now, as you get older, dudes learn how to cheat, right? Like I can tell based on whatever that this is where my hands need to be for this kind of pitch, or what, the way your feet are set up, opening your hips up fast, or whatever it is. Guys figure it out throughout the course of their career. I wouldn't be shocked if he came back next year, to be honest. I mean, he's like putting on a fucking show right now.
Yeah.
But then you run the risk of coming back next year and your fucking body breaking down completely. So
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah, and the last couple home runs I've seen him hit, he's really laboring around the bases.
Well, he's had plantar fasciitis since his 5th or 6th year in the league.
Yeah.
Which is one way he probably didn't do steroids. The dude's always in fucking pain.
It looks like he's in pain going around the bases. I hope he hits 700 and retires. I mean, to come back to beat what? Are we considering, Bonds to have the record over Aaron?
No, Hank Aaron has the record.
That's what I agree to.
For sure.
So, I mean, you're still 55 away at that age. That's too much. So why come back? I guess to beat Ruth. Ruth had what, 714?
Yeah, it would only be to pass Ruth. But quite frankly, there's only 2 people really in the 700 club. And even if you want to count Bonds, that's fucking 3 out of the 10,000 people who've played Major League Baseball in history.
Yeah.
That's 700 club it's insane.
Yeah.
And if you count his playoff home runs, by the way, he's already at 720.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 18 postseason.
Yeah.
Something like that. And he's probably going to add 1 or 2 more this October, if I had to guess, considering how things are going.
You would think so. So we'll keep an eye on that stuff. Next, tennis.
Yeah, Wimbledon. Kyrgios, my boy, dude, who I picked to win it all, is tearing it up out there.
The U.S. Open didn't have Djokovic. Who else was out?
Federer was out. Djokovic was out.
You can just Federer's done.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
He might try to play one more Wimbledon, but he's, for all intents and purposes, he's retired.
Nadal looked very, very gassed in that last match. And he admitted at the presser afterwards, he's like, look, it all comes back around eventually, time. And he's like, maybe I'm headed towards the end of it. He just looks so tired out there, and he got smoked by a younger dude. Nothing you could really do about that. Kyrgios is playing great. I picked him to win before this started, just simply because he's how he's looked in the last few tournaments. These guys are fun that are left. The women's side, not so much, in my opinion.
Well, Coco Gauff has been pretty dominant so far.
Coco's dope.
I don't know what the odds are on winner, not matchups, but winner, but I would imagine she's probably got the shortest odds just based on her first 2 fucking matches here.
She's already made a slam final this year. She made the French Open final. So this is her, like she's here. She's arrived. Like most players don't even make a fucking final in their whole career, and she's 18. She's already got a final under her belt at the most difficult or weirdest slam of all. And she's playing home court. She's going to be the darling.
It'll be fun if she replaces Serena in the year that Serena retires.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
But I just don't know the rest of these people. I mean, I don't know one single one of these women that's left besides Coco Gauff.
There's the Tunisian chick who won Wimbledon. And I think she won Wimbledon. Maybe, I don't remember. She's boring. But
she won against like a fucking Ukrainian or something, right? Like it was kind of a weird matchup. Anyways.
Yeah.
Have you watched any of these? Did you watch Kyrgios' last match?
Yeah, against Medvedev.
Yeah. Yep. So a little less emotional than I'm used to seeing him.
Yeah.
So he had a bit of a down moment. Well, first of all, that first set was goddamn brutal. They go to deuce and they go 24-point match or 24 points
tiebreak.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And the tiebreaker. That's like one of the most incredible sets I've ever seen. And then in the second, he got worked a little bit. And usually, like historically for this guy, that's been the part where the whole tournament falls apart for him.
Right.
Like he loses his shit. But he got worked in the second, came back and dominated the third and the fourth.
Yep.
Against a pretty good fucking tennis player.
He's number one. He's number one.
Medvedev's dope. Medvedev, that style of play that Medvedev has fits well with Kyrgios. I'm interested to see. So Kyrgios is probably going to win his match. I think he's favored and
4-1
stuff. So he runs into Ruud in the next round, most likely. Ruud is more of a dude, like a dude who will frustrate him. Like Kyrgios hasn't played someone who's excellent defensively and on his level skill-wise yet in this tournament. Medvedev's on his level skill-wise, but Medvedev's not really a defensive player. He's more power, serve, blah, blah, blah. So that fits well with Kyrgios' style. Ruud is going to be someone who can frustrate him. And that's when Kyrgios gets pissed off, right? When his brilliant shots or whatever are getting hit back to him, when he's doing crazy shit and it's not working.
And he, like when a player intentionally hits deep into the court to take the power out of his fucking forehand, I don't know what it is about that, but it really makes him mad.
Yeah. Which is why in Wimbledon, the reason he was freaking the fuck out the whole time is because Djokovic is literally the best defender in tennis history. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that drove him fucking insane. Nadal, you could also say maybe is too. He's not going to have to face Nadal, which is nice for him. So Ruud is a good defender. Alcaraz is a good defender. The dream matchup for the U.S. Open, though, would be Kyrgios and Francis Tiafoe.
Fuck yeah, big foe, dude. Let's go. That'd be a great match.
I love Francis Tiafoe. He's the dude he's the only American worth rooting for, I think.
And it would be interesting to see how Kyrgios reacted if he lost 2 slams in a row.
Yeah.
In the finals, right?
Yeah.
He may just fucking burn that whole place down.
Well, and he really might. And another thing that'd be interesting about a Tiafoe final with Kyrgios is Kyrgios has basically had the crowd behind him every match. Crowd probably won't be behind him with an American there. So that could frustrate him too. Yeah. Tennis players are very fussy about the crowd rooting for them or not. A lot of times, it's like Nadal and Federer aren't.
Like your baby? Like, did you say fussy like your baby?
Yeah. Well, Kyrgios is a baby.
Yeah, he's fussy in general. So.
Yeah. And Djokovic is the same way. Djokovic will get like fussy if the crowd starts rooting for the other other player, and like he'll hit a good shot, and he'll be like, "Come on, like what the fuck, like good for me."
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Literally.
Anyway, we'll see how it goes. We'll have Monday morning recap next week. We'll have a winner, and we'll talk about it then.
Absolutely. In the meantime, did you guys watch Serena's last match?
No.
It was on Friday nights.
I did. Yeah.
It was super weird, man, because it's the night before college football. Everybody's out. There was a couple games that were on. I caught it at a bar really late, and it was on at a club. I was like, wow, this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
And I mean, they played it on every single TV because it was Serena, and she was out of there. Not a big shock to me. You thought she would go pretty deep.
I thought she would go further. I think she actually had a pretty serious tactical mistake in that match. They went to deuce a lot, and there was that one game where I think it was like a 6 or 8 point deuce. I mean, the game went like 15 minutes, and it's just like, dude, like you got to know how old you are.
Yeah.
Like she was hitting darts. She was all good. Like she needed to just punt that game. I think that took it out of her, and it was in the second set.
It was in the second set. She ended up losing the third. It was 6-1. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I think she gassed herself on a game she didn't need to win because she was up big in that second set, and it wasn't great. You got to know. You got to know what your game is at that point, and for her, it's power, not defense. And so she basically like took her own legs out.
Yeah.
By playing that game too long, which sucks. Tough way to go, but that's how she is too. Like she's got that sort of like Kobe, Michael Jordan in her, where she's just like everything's personal and fuck you, and I'm not giving up an inch of ground.
But even Jordan, like if he was on the free throw line and you were at your free throw line, he's not going to try to sprint and block your layup from behind.
Right.
Like you got to be reasonable at some point. You have to be tactically smart, especially as you get older, right? That's what we're talking about with Pujols. He's figuring out.
Well, Serena's 42. She's right underneath Pujols at this point.
You got to figure out at that age. You have to start leveraging your institutional knowledge and not just your physical capabilities. You know what I mean? At some point.
And she still had the power advantage.
Oh, yeah.
Like she was serving 120, 130
Yeah.
miles an hour, like hitting the ball hard in a way these women generally don't see. Like she hits about as hard as a man, but she can't move. She can't fucking move.
Yeah.
So like, don't waste your legs like that. It sucked. Like I was literally just watching, like, oh my God, just let it go. Just let it fucking go.
She wouldn't let it go. What'd you think of the GOAT's comments this weekend about Serena? Greatest of all time, Margaret Court.
Oh, Christ. That's like, counting that, I mean, she's tied with Margaret Court for open era wins, so that's like saying, like, the Bears are dope because they have pre-merger NFL championships. Or something.
Well, kind of. That's not a great comparison because the Bears are still playing. They just suck now.
Yeah.
Margaret Court hasn't played in quite a while.
Yeah.
Well,
I love that
she's
an
80 years
80-year-old,
old.
but I love that she came out and did an interview and talked shit. Here was her quote. Serena has played 7 years more than I did. I finished in my early 30s. People forget that I took 2 years off. I first retired when I was 25. I got married, had a baby, but then had one of my best years, winning 24 out of 25 tournaments. And she also pointed out that she became superior to Williams after she had a baby. She said, I came back after 2 babies. After having the first baby, I won 3 out of the 4 slams. Serena hasn't won a slam since having a baby.
This is like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar versus Bill Russell argument, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, Bill Russell clearly did not play against the same level of talent, consistent talent, right? But he beat everybody he played against.
Yeah,
right.
So it's.
You can only play against who you played against.
I don't think Margaret Court was necessarily trying to take anything away from Serena Williams, but I don't even know if it's Serena.
Well, what she said was...
I know what you said.
She had, I guess, some admiration for Serena. Serena has never acknowledged her. Well, she didn't even acknowledge the girl she was playing against on Friday night, which was fucking bizarre to me. But that's Serena Williams. So it is what it is. The interesting part that she said, though, in this interview was she said, I would have loved to play in this era. I think it's so much easier. How I would have gotten to take my family and friends to play with me, but I couldn't. I had to go on my own or with the stupid national team, which people don't see all that. We didn't have psychologists or coaches with us. It's a different world. And what disappoints me is that players today don't honor the past game. Which is true. I didn't even think about the flying element to it because some of these, you would just take a fucking boat, dude, back in the day.
Yo, or a
Back up your wooden rackets. You're getting on a boat.
She played in 1960 to 73. She was
bus.
flying.
You think she was flying? Were they flying back then in 1960?
Major League Baseball teams weren't.
Yeah.
A lot of them, like the small market teams, they were taking buses still in Major League Baseball in the 1960s.
I don't think she took a boat personally, but I don't know.
We don't
Maybe
know.
she did.
A boat? You mean like from the East Coast of the United States to England for Wimbledon?
Maybe, dude.
No, she definitely flew.
Took a boat, dude. She might have taken a boat. Still got her as the GOAT in my eyes. She's got the record. Too bad, Serena. It was a fun career.
I don't think anybody has ever been as dominant at anything as Serena Williams was against women in tennis, to be honest. That's my personal feeling on that matter.
It would have been interesting to see her sans kids. And I know her coach has said it for years, do not have children.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never win. And he was correct. He was also fucking her, but that's a whole different show.
Who cares?
Yeah. It's strange. Same with Tiger Woods. Like, if he didn't self-sabotage himself, could he have beaten it and been the greatest of all time? Probably. It's weird, though. But injuries and all that other shit come into play.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Tennis is stupid anyways. Let's talk about football.
Sure are. By the way, all of our bets today and last week are at mybookie.com. That is our title sponsor of the show. We got week 2 of college football. We got the NFL week 1 coming up. All of your bets should be made at mybookie.com. Use promo code Drinkin Bros to double your deposit up to $1,000. So if you put $1,000 in, get $1,000 back. You'll have $2,000 in your account. Now, we always go over last week's picks first, and then we go over this week's picks first. At the top of this, I want to remind everybody, I gave Bob some of the parlay cards to pop up on screen here for you guys, because I got a lot of questions in Drinkin Bros Sports. It's a private group on Facebook. Just sign up. You can see all my real bets there. I usually do it the day before. And there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of teasers to be had. Now, the reason I'm doing this today is there's a few of you guys that posted, hey, here's my teaser. My bookie didn't pay me. I won this one. It was like, no, you pushed. You got either the same number on a lot of those, or you lost by a point. You got to get them all correctly. Bob, pop up this first one, whatever this one is, and pop it up on the screen there. Okay. This is a 7-point teaser here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. I picked 5 teams in this one. Ohio State minus 10. So the spread was 17. I took it down to 10. Alabama was 41.5. I took down to 34.5. Kentucky was at 16. I took down to 9. Utah, that was a fun one. I pushed that the other way because they were in this one a minus 2.5. Took it up to plus 4.5, and that got me the win as well. And then Arkansas I took down to half a point. $400 paid off at $1,200 there. So it's 3-1 odds by doing that. Plus, you gain 7 points for every game as well as the overs. Bob, you can pop another card up real quick there. Anyone is fine out of that crew. Doesn't really matter. That was a long one. My God, how many teams did I pick? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in that one. That was only a $100 bet, but it paid off at $1,600, and that was great there. That was another 7-point teaser. So I took all the teams that I liked and then gave them 7 points, and you can do that on either way. I highly recommend it if you're not sure about what to do. So what you do is you bet the game itself. They will give you an option on mybookie.com. It'll say straight bet first, parlay second, or teaser third. The teaser is what I'm clicking. When you click that, you can take -6, -6.5, or I'm sorry, +6, +6.5, or +7 in that. Whatever you choose. 6 is you get more money, obviously. 6.5, you get a little less money, and then 7 is the worst odds. But Bob, there was some people, and I don't know if you were in on this, that were at +10, +13 on some of these games. It popped up for me on 1 or 2 of them, but not all of them. If you can take that, definitely do it. But that's super rare. Maybe they did that for opening week.
Like a 10-point teaser. Mm-hmm. I did not see that, but
they
maybe
do them promotionally from time to time.
Yeah, they do them promotionally from time to time. So if you can find that, take it. We did very, very well this weekend. Only a couple misses at the top, to be honest with you. One of my locks of the week was Utah -2. Now, I was at the Ohio State game during that game, so I didn't get to see it until I got back to the hotel that night. Don't understand the decision-making there on the 5-yard line with 30 seconds left. They threw a Russell Wilson-type interception, in the end zone the same way that the Super Bowl ended when they just could have ran the ball in. Didn't really make sense, but that Richardson kid was pretty fucking good. But that's also where the teaser comes into play on some of those parlay cards. So at least I was able to win on that.
By the way, part of being a good team, especially in college football, is having a good coach, and they clearly don't. Mm-hmm. So Utah is not for real.
I don't think so either.
Not with that coaching staff.
No. They're a good team. They're a gritty team. They're a tough team, but not enough to go to the CFP. Did anybody pick them in the CFP this year?
Utah?
Yeah.
Yeah, a ton of people.
Was it you, Delco? You were high in Utah this year.
I took Pitt.
Oh, Pitt. That's it. Okay.
I think I did. I think I picked Utah.
Gotcha. That Pitt game was closer than it should have been, too, by the way. But yeah, with that, Pretender, they're out. I think they dropped to number 11 today.
Well, let's run through all the results from last week. And
sure.
We'll decide who, based on week one, are pretenders or not. So first game was Thursday, Central Michigan at Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Oklahoma State looks like a Big 12 team from 10 years ago where they play no defense. They don't even try to play defense. They just chuck the fucking ball and hope for the best.
And interestingly enough, Jim Knowles was the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State. They were great. Ohio State took him, and Ohio State's defense looked great on Saturday night. I don't know who their defensive coordinator is now, but giving up 44 fucking points to Central Michigan is a goddamn embarrassment.
Yeah, Oklahoma State is probably going to – I think they'll probably be in the mid-20s by the end of the season, ranking-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, they can score, but their defense is terrible.
Terrible.
Then West Virginia at Pitt, like you said, that game was a little too close, but it's almost a home game for both. It's like going
it's a rivalry.
Yeah, but going into Morgantown is tough. I don't think going into Pittsburgh for West Virginia is very tough.
I don't either. You and I have been there. It's an easy place to play.
Yeah.
West Virginia always plays tough, man, and it's that was a very, very fun game to watch. We picked that one.
But I still think Pitt is a top 15 team.
Like I think they're a top 15 team. I don't think they're going to be a CFP team at all.
Probably
not even close.
But we'll see.
VMI versus Wake Forest. That was.
I don't think there was even a line.
There wasn't a line for that. Western Michigan against Michigan State. This was one of those games where, fine if you wanted to bet on it. I think this turned out pretty much exactly how people pictured.
It did, yeah. But you can tell just based on the downstream numbers that Michigan State is not a top 15 team. They're maybe top 20, but not top 15. I mean, their quarterback was 12 for 24 against Western Michigan. Come on, man.
Yeah, they're going to struggle against obviously some of the better Big Ten teams.
Anybody who plays good run defense is going to shut Michigan State down entirely.
Yep.
They're going to be fucked. Utah State at Alabama, exactly what we expected here. I actually bet that at 41.5.
Same. As you saw the card, I teased it down to 34.
I normally don't, but it's like Alabama versus Utah State. You're just giving me fucking money at this point.
It's just a high school team, and it's fine. But to Bama's credit, and if you're a Bama fan out there, you did exactly what you should do. Bryce Young had, I think, 6 total touchdowns in this game. 5 through the air.
By the way, he's definitely going, unless he gets hurt, he will win the Heisman Trophy this year.
I agree.
Because, one, they don't have a terribly difficult schedule in general, but it's all about, we talk about this a lot when it comes to overs. You have to be on schedule with scoring, and for Heisman Trophy, some people pop up late, but you don't put up shitty numbers in the beginning and then come on late and win. You put up decent numbers, and then you can come on and put up great numbers later and win. Bryce Young probably will put up great numbers all fucking year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a good chance he will go into Heisman season with 45 or so touchdowns and getting close, to 800 to 1,000 yards on the ground with, 7 to 8 touchdowns there as well. Yeah, I can't imagine anybody else beating him for this award.
The other thing I loved about this was I caught part of this game with Saban. Bryce Young threw a deep touchdown pass to somebody, started celebrating in the air, and Saban just ripped his jersey down and was like, hey, you missed that pass the pass before. I don't give a fuck about that touchdown you just threw. You missed that ball the play before, and it's just who Saban is, which is why Alabama's so goddamn good every game. Which will bring me to this next one, which is Notre Dame, Ohio State. I posted a video of LeBron James hugging the fucking coach before the game. I hate that shit. There was 10,000 celebrities at this fucking game. I was in the front row right behind the Ohio State bench for this one. It's fine. To me, this Ohio State team looked like they were already national champions. Like, people were laughing on the sidelines, LeBron and those guys. It looked like LeBron on the sidelines of a blowout game having fun. The game hadn't even fucking started yet, 1. 2, you're not the defending champions at all. And you got to go out and stomp the shit out of these guys. CJ Stroud looked like shit, 24 for 34, 223 yards. That's not going to get it done as far as a Heisman is concerned, which is why it's probably Bryce Young's and then everybody else after that.
Yeah, he's just not. Well, one, Ohio State has a much more difficult record than Alabama does. Or, I'm sorry, more difficult schedule.
Yeah.
But
Did I call it, though? Or did I call it? Ross calling for fucking CJ Stroud's job.
I'm not calling for his job. I think he's the guy. The problem is, you're 24 for 34 for 223 yards.
70% completion, no turnovers,
but
2
he's
touchdowns.
He's
24 for 34 is 70%.
Yeah,
but he's there's two things here. One, he's I think we're finding it out now. We'll see in the next couple games, but he is just a slow starter, right? Which, as I mentioned before, that you're not going to win the Heisman Trophy if you're a slow starter. There's not enough games in the season to make up. It's not like there's 17 games where it's almost like 2 halves of the season. Mm-hmm. You're just playing all the games in a row.
Notre Dame's got a really good defense.
This is 66%.
Yeah.
And 24 divided by 34.
What are you bumping it up to? What are you bumping it up to 70 for? Like, why are we going up for that? It was a shit game. He admitted it after the game. He said it in the presser.
24.
Even Ryan Day said it afterwards. He goes,
24 divided by 34 is 70%.
70 and a half, actually.
Yeah, come on.
71.
Do math.
But,
all right.
Either way, Notre Dame does have a good fucking defense. I expect them to finish in the top 10 for sure now. I didn't know before. Like, I don't think they're going to score a whole lot of points. They're fucking they didn't look that great offensively. As good as Ohio State looked defensively, Notre Dame did not look good offensively. The thing that stood out for me for Ohio State is they might be the only team that I've seen so far in the top 10 that have 2 legit running back ones. Mm-hmm. Like, they have 2 running backs that should be starting.
Yeah.
Right. And you could tell because they split time.
It was
like 15 and 16 or something like that. So if Ohio State can battle through, the first 4 or 5 games until Stroud gets hot, there's a pretty good chance they go undefeated.
The only thing I will say, and you know this from going to all these games, is when you're sitting that close, you can really see what's going on. He's guiding the ball, and you can see it in the reads where you have endless 5-stars all over the field. Jackson Smith and Jigma, who is another Heisman favorite, he went out in the first quarter. Another guy named Ibuku went in the game. I'm a diehard Ohio State fan. I don't even know who this kid is. He ended up torching it in there. You have endless 5-stars in this. I think when he thinks too much, you have numbers like this, and when he doesn't, just lets it go. He's pretty fucking good. But
he needs to link up with Jason Kuhn and get rid of his yips or something like that.
That's what it felt like to me, at least watching it. I was also not a fan of, look, man, if Joe Burrow's there, Joe Burrow shows up at your fucking game, light it up, dude. Light it up in front of the world's best.
I mean, there was multiple drops, too, including a touchdown.
Still, man, he didn't look that great. He admitted it. Coach Day admitted it. But I don't know what else you want.
I chalk it up to just him being a slow starter. We all know what the kid can do. We've talked enough about Ohio State.
I wouldn't draft, not that, but I wouldn't draft him as a quarterback in the NFL.
I wouldn't draft anybody from Ohio State or
Alabama
ever.
I wouldn't do it.
Now, the next game, Oregon at Georgia, 49-3. I made good money on that one as well. This is, if you have any last reservations about whether or not the Pac-12 is a real conference, that should be gone now.
Correct.
USC and UCLA are the only 2 teams that are kind of on the come up over there. UCLA to a lesser degree, obviously, are fucking leaving, next year?
Yeah, both.
This conference should contract completely and distribute its resources elsewhere. It's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Like, Oregon came into this ranked 11th. Mm-hmm. They looked like fucking shit. This is one of the worst games I've ever seen between 2 ranked teams on day one.
Stetson Bennett looked like Brett Favre. Yeah. I mean, it was incredible to watch. He went 25 for 31, 368.
Usually, no matter what the fuck else is going on, Oregon's got they roll out a pretty good defense, and Georgia isn't really historically known for having big, powerful offenses. They pretty much use their defense to win games, especially last year.
It was a full-on reload.
Yeah.
It's unbelievably impressive. I think they should be number one.
Yeah, it's crazy that Alabama's number one still, to be honest. I honestly, a win against Utah State, regardless of how impressive, versus torching the fucking number 11 team in the country.
And looking great doing it. I mean, they looked great doing it.
Here's what happens. It's two things every time. Every time. One, they're athletes. It's just it looks like men playing with boys. Like they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. And two, it's like 2 times that bad in the trenches.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And if you get to be on the field or close to the field like that, you see how much bigger they are than everybody else. Their size looks so much fucking bigger than Oregon. It looked like children. They look like children out there. To me, I know there's new rankings out, which we'll get to in a minute, but I got Georgia at 1, Bama at 2, and then Ohio State at 3 in the country, in my opinion, after this weekend. And that Georgia win, my God, man, I didn't even recognize, besides Stetson Bennett, I didn't know anybody on that fucking team.
Yeah.
They're all new.
Well, I mean, you're going to by the end of this year, you'll fucking know this.
Yeah.
You'll be drafting them in your fantasy football league in like 5 fucking years. Like,
sure will.
To be honest, this is the first time in a long time that I've seen a defending champion look like they're going to win again.
Yeah.
After Clemson won, I don't know. It was kind of an up and down season. After that, it's hard to win back-to-back titles in any sport, but when there's a 160 team field, it's even harder. Not that there's actually that many competitive teams, but I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find out. They look great. Texas A&M did what they were supposed to do. Sam Houston.
Well, sort of. I mean, I would have expected this to be like a 60-0 game, but
it was rain delayed or lightning delayed for a really long time.
They were out for
4 hours,
forever. It was a weird game. 31-0. They won that. Utah lost to Florida. That Richardson kid is as good as advertised. Dan and I were talking about this before the show. I think once some of these SEC defenses can learn to contain this kid, I don't think Florida's got enough firepower to do a lot this year.
They have a huge test this week.
Yeah. They do. I think they probably lose 3 games still this year, but it was a positive. I just think Utah gave up this game at the end. There's just no reason for that ball at all. I still can't figure it out after watching that play.
Didn't Utah blow 2 goal line or 2 red zones?
They did.
With 0 points or something like that.
Yeah.
They left a lot of points on the table.
They should have won that game.
But their run defense is dog shit.
Whose?
Utah's. It's
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
It's bad. I don't know who else they play the rest of the season, but if they play like this, they lost because of decision making. Utah was overrated.
No.
And
Again, it was a true road game. This is.
I don't care about what you're saying. Utah was definitely overrated.
Yeah.
Their run defense fucking sucked.
The Pac-12 fucking sucks, dude, and time again.
And Florida, now everybody's like on Florida's dick, like, oh, fucking whatever. I don't think Florida's real either, to be honest.
I don't, but that kid is fun to watch, and
he's fast.
I will now tune into Florida games because of this kid, and at least if you're a Florida fan out there, because I think they came in at 37, now they jumped up to I think number 12 in the new rankings, which we'll get to in a minute. At least he's fun to watch, and you can have something to rally behind. The Pac-12 isn't fucking real. We'll see about USC, but Utah losing a big game week 1, and then Oregon losing a big game week 1. It's the same fucking theme for this conference over and over again.
What I was saying before is like Utah, are they a good team? The players on the field appear to be pretty good, but the coaching is fucking terrible.
No, he's a good coach, too.
Okay, well, not at all. Because of the decisions he made cost them this
lost.
fucking game.
I mean,
They're fucking losers.
They lost because they're a bunch of fucking canyon kids that had to go across the country and weren't used to the humidity. They fucking got rattled by the heat.
That's the sports.
They weren't.
Don't play it if you're not ready for it.
The sport is that college football home field matters.
They weren't.
Lot.
They weren't getting ran out of the stadium. They made stupid fuck decitions on the goal line and cost them 14 points.
And
that has nothing to do.
That
has nothing to do with puking on the sideline, though. Pulling a fucking Pete Carroll doesn't have anything to do with how
they didn't have any
humid it is
timeouts
there.
left.
You had the ball at the 5 with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, with no timeouts.
And you've got
you give endless passes in the end zone.
And you have your quarterback who's run for 90 yards already, and your running back one who's run for 115 already.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing throwing the ball right there?
I don't
It's
know,
insane.
man.
Like, that's bad coaching. I don't care if he's a good coach in theory. I care about, like, is he going to Shanahan the fucking game?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he did, big time. It was fucking stupid. Anyways.
They lost. They're more than likely out of the CFP. Like, that's it. So it doesn't really matter anymore.
Colorado State at Michigan. Michigan took care of business there. Colorado State's not a real football team.
No, and then they're going to play a new quarterback this week against Hawaii and see who the best is out of the two for these. That's not going to tell you anything. You're playing two shitty teams. But.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's just like with C.J. Stroud, you can tell, even though he's playing in a tough game and he still performed, you can still tell he's guiding the ball. That's not good. So maybe he's just looking at mechanics, or maybe he's praying to Jesus the whole time.
For Michigan, we'll see.
Because that's what he's into now.
UTEP against Oklahoma. As expected there, Oklahoma still don't really know who they are. We'll find out. Albany against Baylor. I don't know if anybody watched that or if that. I don't even know if that game took place.
I like that they scored 69 points.
I don't even know if that game took place. NC State versus East Carolina. Now, this is one game I had wrong on a teaser here.
That was a great game.
I didn't. I saw part of it, and then I had to go into the game that I was at. But they played them tough, dude. NC State was 13 this year. They definitely didn't play like a 13 team.
Don't talk about fucking dumb coaching.
Yeah.
ECU at the end of the game trying to play for the field goal down
Why are they not going for two right there?
No, that was the wrong game. They played for the field goal. They were down 1.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
what you're
yeah,
saying.
And it's like a 50-yard field goal they're playing for. It's like, what are you doing? You're East Carolina. You don't have a kicker that can make like a 55-yard
Nobody
field goal.
does. No college does.
Well, he also missed the extra point.
Yeah.
After they did score. So, like, what the fuck? But, man, this was it was a good game. It was a good game. I really felt like they should have gone for two, though, at the end. I like that. Like,
I thought LSU should have, too.
Like, win or lose, man. Who fucking – you got to – this is not – you're East Carolina. You're not – you know you're not going to be in the CFP.
Yeah.
Right? But if you fucking go for two and beat NC State, a 13-ranked team right now, then you're fucking ranked for the rest of the year probably because your schedule's not that bad.
Yeah. Rice versus USC. Look, USC was my sleeper this year. We'll see what happens. The only thing concerning about this, and I know it's Rice and they fucking suck, is USC gave up 100 yards to the running back for Rice. When the running back for Rice drops 100 on you, there could be a fucking problem there with your defense.
But this is the kind of game in the 90s and 2000s, like when a top ranked team was really good. These are the kind of opening games you saw. This one 66-14, Baylor 69-10 or whatever, and then the next game Miami versus Bethune-Cookman 70-13. Those are the kind of games you saw first game of the season for a team that's actually really fucking good, not like 35-13 Michigan State versus Western Michigan.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And it just doesn't happen. Like even A&M, I know they had a long delay, but they only scored fucking 17 points in the first half against Sam Houston. Man, come on. Like, what the fuck?
Next up was Wisconsin versus Illinois State. They won 38-0. Not a real game. Arkansas versus Cincinnati. Great game. This was 6.5 on that one. Fired away straight up on this and then a bunch of teasers. That was great.
That was a really good game.
Arkansas is fun to watch this year. Kentucky versus Miami of Ohio. That was an easy call. Got that one. Ole Miss and Troy. I actually didn't touch this game, nor did I see one single second of it. Looking at the QB, and quarterback for Troy at 275 in this game. Who's the quarterback for Ole Miss this year? Corral was it last year? Is it Jackson Smith from
Jackson Dart from USC?
Jackson Dart from USC. Okay. How did he do? Did he look all right?
He looked good.
Okay.
I mean, Lane can make anyone look good.
He can. I am curious to see how they do the rest of the year. Houston versus UTSA. Don't fuck around with UTSA, man.
I'm telling you, I don't know what the fuck.
They always cover the spread, dude.
I don't know what's going on down there.
We didn't touch this one for that exact reason.
No,
I was like, hey, let's not do it.
They
won the game.
They were 9-4 against the fucking spread last year, I think.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I didn't touch it.
Yeah, and they should have won that game too. Yeah, you're right.
3 OTs in that game.
I'm telling you, everyone thinks that Alabama is going to rip out Texas's soul this year. It's not. UTSA is going to do it the week after.
I hope so. I hope they lose both.
Oh no! Well, how funny would it be though if Texas beat Alabama and then lost to UTSA? Holy shit, that would
Season's
be good.
over,
That's
boys.
even better, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, UTSA has like a shit ton of starters that came back. They should have beat Houston. Yeah, I don't understand this new. I guess it's gone on for the last 2 years, but the overtime rule where it's 3 overtimes, they go for like 2-point conversions every time back and forth.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of hate that.
They were trying to not have the 7 OT game. And
Fuck, they're 19 years old. Let them play.
I
man.
agree.
Fuck
Look,
them.
I'm with you. I don't disagree.
Lazy
with this.
bunch of cunts. Get out of here.
Yeah, there was a 7 or 8 OT game. Was it the LSU game that went?
Yeah,
that
LSU
long?
A&M.
Yeah, and after that's when they changed that rule. But next up was BYU versus South Florida. Didn't
Now,
watch that game.
This is a mountain to East Coast trip right here, and they fucking BYU boat raced the fuck out of South Florida.
South Florida sucks.
Oh, sure, but it's way closer than the 50-21 score at the end of the day because they had 40 points at halftime and they didn't really play much in the second half. This should have been like a 70 to fucking 20 game.
This was 38-7.5.
I'll say this for the another difference with this I didn't say during the Florida thing. Have any of you guys been to the Swamp?
Yes.
To the stadium?
Yeah.
It's the loudest stadium I've ever been in.
Legit as fuck.
Like, I was there when Florida was bad, Missouri was playing, and it was probably like 60% full. And the way the architecture is in there,
Yeah.
it gets so fucking loud anytime they yell, even when it's not full. So, like, this was a full stadium. I can't imagine a harder place to play.
Yes,
Just
and
on noise alone.
USF plays in Raymond James Stadium, which again, if you play in an NFL stadium as a college, and
Yeah.
You got about 4 people there.
yeah, you can't even fill it.
well,
You can't fill a
especially
section.
at this game.
You want to look up something depressing? Look at the UCLA game. They have a picture from the first quarter there.
27,000 strong.
In that stadium of 100,000, it looked like there was 4 people.
There was no chance there was 27,000, right?
I don't think so, man. Look, hey, Bob, pull up the picture. It's wild looking.
Where'd they play it, at Rose Bowl or something?
Yeah, and no one came to see UCLA, and you're just like, oh boy. Next up was Clemson versus Georgia Tech. I've got a different take on this. The ukulele kid was fucking awful. I think we're all done with him probably there. The Klubnik kid though, holy shit.
Well, we were talking about him 2 weeks ago. For
We
the
were.
preview. Like, this ukulele dude fucking sucks.
Sucked.
He sucks. Get him out of here, man. I'm tired of seeing this guy. 2 things though. First, Clemson's defense is really fucking good again.
They're good.
They were pretty good last year. After
They've got
being-
the pieces. They need a quarterback.
after being dominant for several years. Where I still don't know that they have. The receiver question is still a question to me. We'll see, right? when
Well,
they
but
start
is
playing
it the
some good teams.
receivers or is it the fucking quarterback? Because I think he sucks.
Well,
that Klubnik kid came in there and ran it like a 2-minute drill.
Yeah.
And just housed them down the field. And I know that kid has all the hype and the 5-star and all that stuff. He certainly looked every fucking bit of it last night. I watched that last drive and I was like, why isn't that kid your fucking quarterback?
Their defense is definitely elite. If they keep Klubnik in for the rest of the year, they go to the CFP. That's my opinion.
It'd be fun because they have an easy schedule.
Yeah,
They have an easy schedule.
It's I watch the game and you see the commentary. It's like, oh, his receivers aren't getting open, blah blah blah. Like, that sounds like a you problem, bud.
Yeah.
Figure it the fuck out. It's college football. You're playing against Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Klubnik didn't have a problem with it, and we'll see. I mean, Dabo came out today and said that ukulele is still the starter. That's asinine to me.
Even the Clemson fans, every time they pan to a Clemson fan, they were like, start him. Show this picture, Bob, real quick of UCLA.
Good Lord.
These are the fans
This looks like a fucking
in LA.
It looks like a fucking track meet.
Is bad.
I mean, isn't that awful?
It's only parents in the stands.
And the game was going on. Like, this isn't pregame. This isn't an altered photo. The game is going on. You can see the players on the field there.
That's bad.
They spotted Bowling Green 17. They were a 24-point favorite. Still covered.
Still covered.
Still covered.
But look, if you're a UCLA fan, do better or go to a different school. Go to grad school somewhere else.
All right, let's do this week.
Yes, let's get into this week's odds. First up, the game that we will be at, Alabama at Texas. Now, this spread has jumped so much. I'm going to hammer it the second the show is over here. If they'll let me bet as much as I want to on a Tuesday, which is a full Ariana Grande on this one. It started off at 15, moved up to 15.5. Moved up to 17.5. As of the moment the show is airing right now, on September 6th, 4:54 Central PM. It is -20. This is easily a 3-touchdown game, in my opinion. Hammer it before it hits 21, 22. I think it'll be worse than that, to be honest with you. I watched Quinn Ewers play. He was one pick away from that game being a different game down in Texas. I don't know that he's the dude, and especially as a freshman going up against Bama.
Well, this is the only meaningful football he's played so far will be this upcoming game.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see. I mean, it's not fair to judge him based on how he performs in this scenario either, because Alabama's like dominant.
Right.
But we'll see. I mean, I honestly I could see this being a 17-point game, but I think that it's a 24-point game in my head.
Can I show you something important?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is
On
it
the
your,
screen.
Is it
Yeah,
your,
yeah.
Is it your wiener? What is it?
Yeah.
This is the opening game Alabama had against a pretty talented USC team.
Sure.
Had pieces, had some guys.
Yeah.
Had some guy. Did Darnold start this game or no?
No, I think he
This game
was
before.
Max Brown.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
52-6.
Yep.
This is what Nick Saban does to the non-con early season games he
Yeah.
has.
And it's to prove a fucking point to the nation of like, hey, dude, I saw the Georgia-Oregon game, and I'm going to do the same fucking thing to Texas and run these kids out of the stadium. I think it's Bama by 28 plus.
Even though Texas isn't ranked, they kind of need to, if they want to. Honestly, in my opinion, I think if they want to hang on to that number 1 ranking, they probably need to boat raise Texas.
Yes.
Right? Because if Georgia comes out and just score 70 again or whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
and Alabama's a key pace, I think they do go to number 2.
Yeah.
And if Texas covers, it might get ranked.
That's true. Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, if
Texas
it's
only loses by 17, and it's like a real 17. It's not like a backdoor
Yeah.
cover. So if they're down 24, then people might be like, well, you know what?
Rank them.
Yeah.
yeah.
Gross.
So game 2 is Arkansas State at Ohio State. It's -43.5. I'm not touching that.
I am. Look, it's a fucking Division II school. CJ Stroud's got to figure it the fuck out. He'll probably throw for 7 touchdowns against these idiots. I don't even know where this is besides Arkansas. I don't know what city it's in. I don't really care. This will be in a teaser. I'll probably take it straight up. They'll win this one 58-0 or something like that.
Ohio State opened the season last year with Minnesota, Oregon, which they lost, and then Tulsa. And CJ Stroud didn't have a good game until week 4 against Rutgers.
They benched him one game. Which game did they bench him? Was it 3?
It was game 4. So technically it was game 5 against Rutgers that he actually did really well. I think he's maybe just a slow starter, which makes me not want to fucking spend money on a 43.5.
Also, please
regardless
respect
of who it is.
the Sun Belt. They're not Division 2.
Is that who it is?
It's the Sun Belt.
Oh, it
Conference.
is. So this is a real
Sunbelt.
school.
Arkansas State is feisty
Sometimes.
sometimes.
The Red Wolves.
If they're feisty against Ohio State, you can go ahead and write them off for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
you can
I'm
write
not-
off
I'm not
Ohio
looking
State for the
that
rest
time,
of the year.
But I'm just saying, like, it's a type of school where it's like, all right, like they're legit, like they're a good not FCS, they're a good
FBS.
G5 football program. I think.
Sure.
They're going to get fucking spanked. But
Yeah.
I don't
They
know
should.
I don't know if it's by
That's good.
44, though.
But,
so I'm not-
just a little respect on the Sun Belt.
No.
No, not at all.
Next up is Southern Miss at Miami. This is -25.5 Miami. I might take this because Miami looked fucking good, man.
Well, it was Bethune-Cookman.
I don't give a shit. So what is Southern Miss a good team all of a sudden? Like, fuck
No,
off.
no, they're not.
And it's in Miami. The weather's going to be a balmy 85 in Miami there.
It always is.
Which, Southern Miss, they're used to that shit. It's pretty much the same climate. But,
Whoa! Hey, did you see this is 77 for the Texas game? Is that real?
The over
Are
under.
we gonna have to bundle up?
Oh, 77 degrees. Yeah.
What? On Saturday?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
We're getting we're almost in fall, dude.
Oh God! Thank God! Thank God! I
It's
thought.
fall, y'all.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna sweat my ding dong off like last year.
But this is what do you guys think about this? Southern Miss at Miami. I think Cristobal's got it. I think he's the guy down here.
He's good at recruiting. I don't know what he would actually be like in a real game.
Well, this is not a real game.
It's not. So it's tough for me to say. This will be in a teaser. I'll drop this 7 here, but back-to-back weeks like that, you want to see if a team is too fucking high on themselves or low on themselves. We'll see.
You got to be careful, too, because Southern Miss does have Frank Gore Jr.
Sure does.
And he did rush for 180 yards last week.
Yeah, just like his father. Is his father playing this
on
week?
32 carries. No, he's playing in like an old guys league or something.
Yeah, it's going to be a home game for him.
It is.
Back to the U.
Yeah, he's going back to the U. Surprisingly, he didn't play for the U, which is weird to me. Was he just not good enough?
I don't think he got recruited.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
He's
Michael
kinda
Jordan
small.
Jr. didn't play for North Carolina either.
sure did.
Yeah.
No,
He
Marcus
sure did.
played for UCF, and now he dates Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
Sure does. Sure does, which is a fun throwback because she hasn't aged.
A lot of folks have done that,
My
apparently.
God, she's hot. Yeah, but I'll take this in a teaser. I'll take Miami down to, what is that, 17.5? For sure. I'll take that in a teaser, not the full game, though.
This next one, South Carolina at Arkansas, is really,
All over this game.
this is pretty interesting to me because Rattler is over at South Carolina, but Arkansas looked pretty good this week.
So, South Carolina did not.
No, they
South
didn't.
Carolina is fool's gold. I do not know why people are so high on them
Don't
already.
either, man.
A,
I don't
Spencer
either.
Rattler sucks.
Sucks, yeah.
And B, like South Carolina, everyone's all gassed up on them because they somehow went 7-6 last year
Without an offense.
instead of like 4-8 or 3-9.
Right.
And then it's like, dude, maybe something's there. Nothing's
No.
there.
Nothing's
Defense
there.
is
Nothing's
solid.
there.
You would think Rattler would be better than their non-existent offense.
Yeah, no
You would
shit.
think.
And
but I wouldn't.
My concern here is that Arkansas is on their come up over the last couple of years, super inconsistent. Like, is this the year they put it together? Maybe. But I think
mean-
8.5 by a point, take it as like 7.5 or something like that. Take it down a little bit, maybe, or tease it or something.
It's a good teaser game for
Yeah,
sure.
it's a great teaser game because you can take that down to either 2.5 or 1.5, depending upon what you take there. This will be literally on every fucking teaser card I have. I'm also going to take this straight up. I think Arkansas wins by at least 10. So I'm fine with that 8.5. I don't understand the respect for Spencer Rattler.
It's
He's
because he
23
was
of
in
37 for
he was in a
225
national
last
title
week.
game last year. That's all that matters, right? Or not the national title game, but he was like they were ranked all year last year. So it's
They
like,
were, but he was on the bench for most
he
of
got
it.
yeah, but
benched
like
for-
how many years in a row now has a guy transfer portaled to a new team after being benched? You know what I mean? And it's fucking blown the fuck up. I think that's what it is. I think it's some weird recency bias. But that doesn't actually mean anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he went to a much. It's not like Joe Burrow, for example, going from Ohio State that's loaded with quarterbacks to LSU, which is a fucking really good football program, and immediately having success. That makes sense. This is South Carolina.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they've never been good.
No, I'm all over this one. Next up is Wake Forest versus Vanderbilt. Wake Forest minus 13 in this game. No, I don't believe in Wake Forest.
I think Vandy's going
Hold on.
undefeated this
Hold
year.
on. Hartman got the blood clot surgery,
Yep.
cleared by doctors, could play in this game.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, that would certainly change things.
I thought he was going to be out for the season.
So did I. Every report that I read it said that he was going to be out for the year. So is he all right? Yeah. All right. Well, then keep an eye on this one. If he ends up playing, then I would say yes. But if he does not, I wouldn't touch this game.
Man, fucking, it must suck to be at Vanderbilt.
They're 2-0 right now.
I'm looking
They're
at this-
undefeated.
I'm looking
Undefeated
at-
season so far.
I'm looking at their schedule. So they play Wake Forest this week,
Yep.
which is a ranked team, maybe. I don't know. It's the ACC.
They're 23. Yeah.
But Northern Illinois next. That's not real. But then Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, Missouri, Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's a 3-9 schedule probably for those guys. They play their
rough.
hearts out though.
Like it's a baseball school.
Sure
That's
is.
all they care about.
Sure is, and it's a great school academically. Got a good broadcasting program there, but that's about it. Not a football school. Next up, Charleston Southern against NC State. There is no spread on this because Charleston Southern does not exist. I've never heard of that school. I've never seen it, and it certainly isn't worthy of putting a spread on it. If you want to find it, it's on ESPN3, which I didn't think was a thing either. If you want to try to find that, good luck. Tickets for these games, by the way, are on drinkinbrostickets.com. You can get all these. They're pretty cheap this week for most of them. Southern Utah is up next against Utah. No spread in that either. Southern Utah isn't a real team.
No.
So not really sure what you would want to do with that. There will be one. Check back later in the week. Next up, it's Marshall versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame is at home. Notre Dame minus 20. Who do you got in this, Anthony?
I'll take Notre Dame minus 20.
Yeah. I think
that's probably safe. I mean, look, Marshall is not going to score. Notre Dame's defense is fucking good.
Yeah, Notre Dame's got a pretty good defense. Got to see him up close and personal.
If anything, the under might be good here. It's
51 and a half. Yeah. Yep. I think Notre Dame will win this game. I'll take this down in a teaser too, down to -13 to do it as well. What did Marshall's quarterback have last week? 205 yards passing. He's 24 for 26. Not bad. But yeah, this is for diehards, I think.
Yep.
Furman versus Clemson. No spread on this because Furman isn't a school either. Appalachian State against Texas A&M. This is A&M -18.
I'm extremely tempted to tease this up to App State
24.
plus 24. To be honest, I think I'm going to do that.
I think both teasing it either way is pretty good because Appalachian State cannot stop anyone.
No.
But A&M did not show up with the offensive firepower in game one that I thought they would.
It was a weird game though with the weather delay. It was a 4-hour weather delay.
Yeah, I don't put a lot of stock into that, but I watched a lot of that
I watched the entire App State
UNC game. Appalachian State scored 40 points in the fourth quarter and lost.
Yep.
Because they couldn't stop North Carolina.
Hey,
No.
Drake May is that dude.
Yeah. And the thing is too, like, I love them. Like, they're a fun team to watch, but that tiny little running back they got, I mean, like, A&M's going to eat that team alive. Like, and they're not going to be able to pick apart A&M's secondary. They're not going to have the time to pick apart A&M's secondary.
No.
And they're not going to be able to run the ball on them at fucking all.
Yeah. This isn't a bunch of teasers, and I'll take this down to 12 all
But
day long.
I will say, if A&M gets up, 35 points or whatever, I could see App State scoring 14 in the fourth quarter against the twos.
Sure.
I could definitely see a backdoor cover in this fucking game. Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to tease this down. Next up, we got 24 Tennessee. They hopped into the top 25. Congratulations, Volunteer fans. Against number 17 Pittsburgh. This is Tennessee -6.5.
When's the last time these two teams played in general, but played ranked?
They played last year.
But not ranked.
Not ranked.
Not ranked, but they played last year. And there's a little feud going on between Narduzzi and Heupel because it goes back to when Heupel was at UCF and we played Pitt twice. They hate each other.
Yeah.
They fucking hate each other.
So this one could get nasty.
It could. I'm going to go with Tennessee. I wasn't impressed by Pittsburgh last week. I'm going to take Tennessee in this game.
Yeah, Slovis looked 67%. It's not bad.
They look fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to stay away from this. This is a really good matchup.
It is. This will be a fun game. This is a great afternoon game. This is a great 2:30 game. I'm amped about that. It's on ABC. I'm taking it -6.5. Look, if you're at Pitt, tickets are $55 on drinkinbrostickets.com. Have fun. Next up, we got Washington State against Wisconsin. Wisconsin -17. I don't look after last week. Wisconsin didn't play anybody. It's hard to apply that.
Washington State beat Idaho by 7 points.
Yep, they're bad.
Idaho is
That's
awful.
bad.
Yeah.
So
I put this in a teaser. I have
And tease it down in Wisconsin.
11.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to score in Wisconsin either. I'd take the under.
49 is the under. It's a low under for college football.
I could see 45-0.
Yeah.
I'll take Wisconsin -11 in a teaser. That's safe.
Okay. Dad, get back to me in Drinkin' Bro Sports. I'll have that live in there. Sanford against Georgia.
Jesus Christ. I'm concerned
Boy.
that some of the players from Sanford don't survive
They might
the
die.
game.
They might die.
I mean, this is fucked.
R.I.P.
This game should not be allowed to take place.
No, they should stop doing that. They should definitely stop doing
There's
a
no
game like
spread.
this.
There'll be a last minute one, but it's probably going to be like 45 to 50.
It might be 60, dude. I mean, this is fucking gnarly. Sanford is a very tiny school. Maybe 2,800 kids, somewhere in there. Yeesh. This is going to be bad, dude.
Yeah, unless they're all football players, they're fucked.
Yeah, they're definitely fucked. Next up, Akron versus Michigan State. Michigan State -34. Not a lot of great games on this week's docket. Luckily, we got the NFL this week. It's Michigan State -34. Sure. If you feel like doing this to yourself, go ahead. I'm certainly not going to, and I'm not going to tell you to put your hard American dollars on this game.
Akron coming off a heartbreaker for St. Francis, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They won in overtime. They had to go to overtime to beat St. Francis.
Sure. Don't care about Akron or Michigan State. Just don't give a shit. Next up is Houston versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech -3. This is another game to stay away from, in my opinion. Houston should have lost that game last week.
Yeah, but this could be the over 65.5. I could see this game going over pretty easy, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, dude. Texas Tech's quarterback had 4 touchdowns last week.
None of these dudes can play fucking defense.
No, nor do they care.
And Clayton Tune's really good quarterback for Houston as well.
Yeah,
he's not bad. Again, stay away from a game like this. Don't put your money on it, in my opinion. Kent State against Oklahoma is up next.
I can't believe there's even a line on this.
-32.5. I can't either. They lost their quarterback. It was Pickett. Pickett's in, I'm sorry, it wasn't Pickett. Who was Kent State's quarterback? The golden kid from last year.
Crum?
Yes.
Dustin Crum?
Yes. He's not there.
Kent State got boat raced by Washington last week. At no point was that game close. But 32.5 to Oklahoma. I didn't think Oklahoma looked all that great either.
And they're fine. Tease it down. You're good to bet this one. I'll put it on something.
You got to beat UTEP by like 50 points, man. Come on.
Dustin Crum is a Kansas City Chief right now.
Sure is.
Yeah, he's going to be.
Sure is. He's
on
back
the
up.
bench
For a very long time.
Career.
Oh, he'd be lucky. He'd be lucky if he was.
Oh yeah.
Next up, this finally is a decent game. Kentucky against Florida. SEC matchup here down in the swamp. Florida -4.5. What's interesting about this is Florida was number 37 last week. They've jumped all the way to 12. Kentucky is at 20. D'Anthony, who you got in this game?
I thought Kentucky, oddly enough, moved the ball around in the air really well in their first game, but not so much on the ground, which is not what you expect out of Kentucky. You expect good defense and a run game. Their quarterback, Levis, or however you say his name, he didn't look great or anything, but like he was better than their run game was, which is interesting. So I don't really know how to call this game. Florida, I think Florida's I think they're turning the corner right now a little bit. We'll see how it develops. This is a big game. They got to win this game.
I agree. So I'm going to go back to something Bob said earlier. It is one of the loudest stadiums I've been at. I've got it, Bob. I've got it at number 2. The loudest one I've ever been at, because I've been there, was the whiteout game, man. That was the loudest fucking stadium I've ever been in.
There,
so. That might have been the loudest crowd you've ever been in, but I'm saying just like that stadium
The environment.
is so good at containing and amplifying noise.
Sound.
Again, I was there for a game that was 60% attended. Florida wasn't good, and Mizzou kicked the shit out of them that game. And every time there was an important play, like for Florida, like when they kind of almost got back in it or whatever, and all like 50,000 people that were in there, like it wasn't that big of a crowd, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening? Like, how is this so fucking loud? And so a full swamp. And by the way, this is a bit of a rivalry game. They get up for Kentucky just because they're pissed off that the streak is over and they've kind of flipped back and forth. And now they think they're for real because they're ranked 12th. Like, this is going to be hostile.
Yeah, it's going to be hostile, but I'm going to go back to what you said about the stadium. Now Florida fans believe that they could actually win, so that's going to carry over into this week. I'm actually going to take Florida in this game over Kentucky.
Yeah, I'll take that. I mean, look, 4.5.
It's a night game, too. 7 o'clock start. It's going to be loud as fuck in there.
It's going to be 85 degrees at kickoff. It'll probably be 85% humidity.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Right. This is going to be a sweaty-ass game.
Sure is.
I really like the under. So
52.5.
It's 52.5.
Yep. Utah and Florida just missed that. Utah has a much more competent offense than Kentucky. Kentucky, meanwhile, so you're talking about, Utah getting gashed by Florida's running game last week. That's only kind of true. A, they didn't really throw the ball, and B, probably 80 of the yards they let up were from Richardson scrambling. Like
he had 100. He had 106 yards last week.
He did,
rushing.
but it wasn't like design runs. It was just him making plays with his legs.
I think that's their team, though.
The point being, and maybe it is, but the point being, Kentucky has a defense that can contain that. Now they have film on that, and Kentucky's like linebackers, their front seven. It's a good front seven. That's Richardson's not going to be able to feast the way he did against Utah. But Kentucky's their offense, not that fucking good. I really see this being maybe 21-14 somewhere in there.
I think it's a 7-point game, and I'm taking Florida. I'm not going to touch the over just in case because it's still 28-24.
Florida had 170 non-Richardson rushing yards in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not that bad to give up in college football.
Not in college.
If it's only 170.
And here's the thing. It's
170 plus the 100 that he got as well.
I mean, it's 276
They also
for the game.
gave up, less than 200 passing yards? Florida didn't gain that much yardage.
They didn't really even throw the ball that much, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, I think something he was 17 for 24 in the game. I think 7 or 8 of those passes were on third down, which would mean that they had to throw the ball then.
Yeah.
So they're definitely aiming at running the ball more than anything else. So I mean, if you think about that from an under perspective, if you don't think Kentucky's, if you think their front seven's good and they're not going to leak into the secondary as much, it could be an under.
Yeah, I like it in a teaser especially.
52.5 is already kind of low.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you want to take it up to 58 or whatever, I think that's an especially great bet.
Yeah.
But I mean, they didn't hit that last week with the Utah offense that they were running on at will, and they're not going to be able to run on Kentucky at will.
You wouldn't think so. Kentucky typically runs a pretty good defense out there.
Yeah. We'll find out. I'm taking Florida in this game. Next up is Central Arkansas against Ole Miss. Obviously, no spread there. Tickets are as low as $7, though, on drinkinbrostickets.com. Have fun if you're in the Ole Miss area and just want to get fucked up and watch a beating. This is going to be a bad one. Next up, USC versus Stanford. This is USC -9. I love this game.
I'm going to go 8.5, but yeah, I like this.
Yeah, I'm betting this game. This will be on all my teasers as well. I think USC is for real. I do not believe in Stanford whatsoever, and I'm a big fan of this game. The interesting part about it is they're putting this on ABC at 7:30. These used to be the games that were on at 10:30 at nights on the East Coast, and they've kind of moved them all up this year.
Well, it's good for college football when USC is good because it keeps people interested in the West Coast.
Yep.
And they're the only good team out there.
They sure are. They sure are. Next up is Arizona State. We love you, ladies. 1-0. Congratulations last week against Oklahoma State. This is a tough one, man. Oklahoma State -11.
They gave up 44 points to Central Michigan.
They sure did.
So I'm not going to bet on this game.
They sure did. I'm not either.
I don't even know what the fuck this is.
It was all garbage time points.
Either way.
They got up huge, and then they just took everyone out.
Man. Gross. I can't do it. It's the Trap 12. Who fucking knows with these goddamn teams? There's better games to bet on. I'm staying away from this one. UIE against Michigan. This is the highest point spread I've ever seen in Division I history. Mm-hmm. This is -51 points, and this is at Michigan. So why is that Michigan? I don't think I've seen you laugh like this.
I don't even know if I can tease this. Even if I did a 7-point and took it up to -58, is that enough? How bad is Hawaii exactly?
6 points, 57 plus 57. Let's get it.
I don't trust either way. So let's say you took it down to 44, right? So let's say you maxed it out or went up to 58 in this game. Do you do 58?
Hell no.
I don't know what to do here. What an awful team. What's the over in this? 67?
You can't even tease that because I could see Michigan throwing 70 points up on these guys. God damn it.
It's such a strange game. And then so is the last one here.
Yeah, this is the cult rivalry game.
Sure is.
What the fuck? This is going to be the most boring pregame and postgame event of the entire college football season.
Choke and soak versus Koresh.
This is, it's soaking versus anal.
Yeah.
And it's
Diamondbacking, yeah.
Yeah, whoever wins decides which one God prefers to not lose your virginity.
Well, sometimes you just want to soak in a butthole.
Right, and you would think that that's the happy compromise.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of non-vigorous anal sex.
We call that a mud bath.
Yeah.
Did we do that today? We did. Okay. We did mud bath today to end the show. Thank God.
Does anybody want to get in there?
Thank God. So on mybookie.com, the spread here is BYU -3.5.
This is probably going to be a really good game.
It probably is for somebody else to watch.
It's in Provo. That's a tough place to play BYU, I thought, looked pretty decent in week 1. Baylor also looked pretty good. This is an interesting game.
This is one that you bet on if you're losing all Saturday and you're like, all right, fuck it.
Yeah,
let's
but I mean,
go.
just if you think about the implication of this, if BYU wins, then they're probably going to be ranked, like 13th or something like that, 13 or 14?
Yeah.
This would be a huge win for Baylor.
It would.
Well.
It would,
if
but
Baylor
both.
wants to make a playoff, and now that Utah just lost, they have a very good chance to make the playoff.
They sure do.
They have to win this. This
And
is a
then Baylor just missed out last year.
They did.
Yeah.
And the interesting part about this one is the weather, because there is a massive fucking heat wave going on.
Yeah, it's 85 degrees in Provo.
Yes, dude, in Provo. That never happens, man.
But if you're looking at Baylor's schedule, they play a bunch of shitty teams. They play BYU this week. They play Oklahoma State in a couple of weeks. Towards the end of the season, they play at Oklahoma. That's 3 ranked wins if they win those games.
And probably Texas at some point.
Texas won't be ranked by then, though.
No.
They play Texas is their last game, but they won't be ranked by then.
You guys will be covering Texas all season, which is awesome. We won't have to.
Man.
I think Texas might
won't have
get
to.
they may be ranked sometime in the middle of the season just because of prestige. If they rip off like 4 or 5 wins in a row, but they're not going to be ranked by the end of the year. There's no way.
I'm not sure. Either way, not a lot of great games this week to bet on. There's going to be a lot of teasers on college football, but stay tuned for the NFL show tomorrow. I fucking love the NFL this week. Love, love, love these games. I've already gone really fucking hard on the Bills-Rams game to lead off on Thursday night. So tomorrow's NFL show is going to be a banger because I've bet the fuck out of these games already. I was doing fucking teasers last night till about 1 a.m. On these. I love the NFL this week. College, meh. It's a lot of weird Division II schools against top-ranked schools. And then when you get into these spreads like a fucking 50 or a 47 or something like that, it's a lot of desperation, especially when the NFL is starting and there's great spreads in week 1. There's a lot of fucking great matchups, man. I was unaware. Benny hit me up before the game. I was unaware that Dallas and was going against Tom Brady on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Fuck yes, dude. Let's go. NFL is back. College football is back. Bet with us or against us on mybookie.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros doubles your deposit all the way up to $1,000. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is Week 2 College Football Pick'em Show. Good